Analytical.
Woo, baby, the NFL has been on fire this week. Steve, man, I am fired up to be here. This is fun. Dude, the NFL does it right. I don't know what they're doing over the MLB or the NBA. I know they're not even playing games yet in MLB. They need to pay attention to what the NFL is doing over here. This is why they're a multi-billion-dollar industry. Steve, what's good tonight, man?
That's good, man. A lot of news since we last spoke and since we were last on live, and even some news this morning. Not quarterback related, but awesome news nonetheless. Not so much for Bears fans, but if you're a Chargers fan, Khalil Mack in the house.
I think there's a lot of new Chargers fans since Justin Herbert got drafted in 2020 and stepped on the scene. Thankfully to that Chargers doctor that accidentally punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung. I know, man. I saw that. Khalil Mack, the Hall of Fame edge rusher from the Bears, going to the Chargers alongside Joey Bosa.
And the rumor is they're trying to sign J.C. Jackson as well.
Oh, I heard that as well. I mean, and you were the one who shared that with me. We looked into that. J.C. Jackson, an undrafted free agent. However, second in the league last year in interceptions and had incredible pass coverage PFF grades.
Yeah, New England didn't want to pay him. And he said, screw it, I'm going somewhere to get paid.
So look at all these Khalil Mack sales. This is how, you know that the hobby is healthy for football cards. We're hungry for it. We love it, dude. It's so much fun. Defensive players on the board, skill position players, the whole 9 yards. I've got some very interesting questions to ask you before we dive into a best ball draft on Underdog Fantasy. We've got a private 12-man league going tonight with all hobbyists, Steve. So this is going to be fun. An early 2022 best ball draft. We're going to get to see how the ADP has moved for guys like Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton and all these guys that have been impacted this week from the trades. And then now we've got free agency, the new league year starting in just 6 days, brother. So you can see these teams scrambling to get under that salary cap, scrambling to make these moves, these restructuring contracts, these trades, and all this kind of stuff. And we've got a couple teams that are still, looks like they're going to make some big moves maybe this weekend. Maybe we get a big notification this weekend or early next week. It seems like Tuesday's been a really hot day. So we've got a lot of fun stuff, action-packed, we're going to dig into tonight, Steve. Are you ready?
I'm ready. And I think the Colts and Panthers will be some of those headlining teams in the next couple days here.
Colts and the Panthers. I think you're onto something, man. Let me shout out to a couple. We got Filthy C. Did you make it? Filthy C. Trey Flowers got cut too. Oh, man. I heard that. JJ Bama in the house. What's up, Joel? So Joel went with the scarcity. We just shout out to Joel because he was first. He's got his comment in here. He was like, put it in there at 8:25 to make sure he was early. He decided to go with the PSA 9 Optic Aqua, numbered out of 199. Pop count is 39. Only 410. So he went with the rarity over the hollow PSA 10. I got to back that. I got to back the decision, Steve. What would you do?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And I'm a sucker for the orange and the aquas, man. I know we've covered that a couple times, but I'll buy those all day. Raw, graded, doesn't matter. I think you made the right choice.
Brady, what's good, man? Darrington Evans cut. I saw that. Darrington Evans released, and we know, being deep into the fantasy football and the dynasty world, we know the athletic profile of Darrington Evans. We know what a baller he was in college. He's just been behind Derrick Henry on the Titans for so long. So where does Darrington Evans go? He was affected by injuries last year. Yes, and before that, he was buried on a depth chart behind Derrick Henry. Where does Darrington Evans go? That's a big question mark. He's a 2020 rookie, so he's got a lot of juice left in the tank. That'll be really interesting to see where he goes over the coming weeks. Maybe We might dig into some of his cards on eBay. They might present some opportunities. Of course, we've got a high value auction to share with you guys by the end of this live stream, so stay tuned. But right off the bat, Steve, before we start this best ball draft and get an idea where these new ADPs are and looking at where the new expectations are for players in 2022, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you guys in the chat too. If there was one player that you were tempted to overpay on right now, you know that they're hyped up for good reasons because their expectations are high going into 2022 and based on what they've already done, or maybe they're a 2021 rookie, but they're hyped up, and if you bought into them right now, you'd be overpaying. If there was one guy that you would overpay on right now, Steve, who would that be? Or who are you most tempted to overpay on right now? And I want to hear from you guys in the chat as well. If you're just joining in, who are you most tempted to overpay on right now to invest in?
I mean, I've still been buying a lot of T. Higgins cards, and I think that's, you could say, overpaying, but I don't think it is because he's definitely showed, what he's capable of, and his prices have come down since the Super Bowl. He's cooled off a bit, so I'm digging it. Gabe Davis, I would agree with that as well.
Gabe Davis. Yeah, man. He is the topic of a lot of conversations this offseason. Everybody wants to know if he can follow up that 4-touchdown game from the playoffs. But, I think there's a high probability he can. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of slowdown from the Bills offense in 2022. I think Gabe Davis has shown that ceiling now, and we're gonna be looking for that. And I think he's cooled off a little bit, but I certainly have seen a clear increase, like to the next level of his more rare stuff. So but obviously room for growth, right? We talk about it. He's not at the level yet of some of the more elite players in the league. Jamar Chase. I got a couple Jamar Chase here. Gabe Davis, Optic Pink, Teal Velocity. Jerry Judy. Brady says he wants more Jerry Judy. We're going to talk about this. It'll be very interesting to see where Judy's new ADP lands now with the Russell Wilson trade. This is going to be a very fascinating player, a topic of conversation all offseason. It looks like you got a thought on your mind, Steve.
I do, and I see people saying Jamar Chase, and I agree and I disagree. But I disagree because his cards are very expensive right now. Not just expensive, but I think that they're too expensive. And you can find some of his higher end cards for, well over $1,000 already, and that's a lot, man. That's a lot of money. So I think that even at the going rate, you might be overpaying. So I think it's relative to what you're buying it for. But there's guys that have way more room to grow in their entry level points. So I think that there's better options. But hey, it's not a bad investment either. He's going to be good.
Yeah, it's just so much speculation built into his card values right now that I would love to see. Who Russ does build the chemistry with. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as the live stream goes on, because I think I've just got some feelings about that, some inklings based on some research that I've been doing, some sports analytics. I like this. Kyle Trawl, hopefully I'm saying your name right. Kyle, welcome to the live stream. Big K, man. I'm going to call you Big K because Kyle is a Kyle fan. Kyle's a Kyle fan. That makes sense, dude. I don't know if you consider him a overpaying on him. Have his cards cooled off? I thought his cards have kind of cooled off lately. I've actually been watching a few of his auctions, kind of looking to maybe buy in.
Trask is interesting. We talked about that last week with him most likely getting a shot at starting. And depending who they bring in to compete with him, he might be a lock to start. So the minute he gets anointed starter, his cards will go up significantly. And the minute he wins his first game, even more so. So where the ceiling goes from there is the ultimate question.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Herbert. What's up, Blaine, man? We got to get you in on the next draft, Blaine. I'm sorry we filled this first one already, man. It's actually getting ready to kick off. It is kicking off right now, in fact, guys. So if you're in the chat, if you're just joining in, we're getting ready to see where the new expectations are going to fall for 2022 based on the post trades of this past week, based on the Russell Wilson trade, based on the Carson Wentz trade. Man, I mean, it's. I feel like, you know, Calvin Ridley out for 2022. That's going to definitely impact the entire Atlanta Falcons offense, and he may be out for longer than that. I mean,
what are we looking at for how many positions are we drafting here?
All right, so 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver. Let's see, info right here. I believe it's 2 wide receiver. No, 3 wide receiver, excuse me. 1 flex, 1 tight end, and 12 bench. So you get that big ass bench, and then they automatically optimize your lineup on a weekly basis. First place is $32. Second place is $17. Filthy Collector is on the board in spot 1. I'm gonna throw up this this draft board right here, like so. Let's see, Steeler, Jonathan Taylor, no surprise, still number 1. I'm not too surprised. I mean, still great offensive line, still gonna be a beast, and obviously, if whether the Colts draft a rookie, you know, if they're trying to spend draft capital on a rookie like Desmond Ridder, I mean, who looked freaking incredible running as fast as he did, and in his interviews, man, just talk like a leader, act like a leader. And the arm strength was there. All right, so here I am. This is a traditional fantasy league, so I haven't even queued any guys up yet, but so Chris McCaffrey is really interesting. So is Eckler. I'm doing it, man. I'm gonna bump his ADP up. I'm going Javonte Williams.
Man. 2 weeks in a row with the reach.
I'm going with the reach there, man, because he looked so dominant, so all-purpose last year, and it was just a matter of Melvin Gordon meddling in his way, getting in his way, and now you've got Russell Wilson pushing safeties back, pushing corners back, pushing linebackers back to guard all the incredible weapons that Denver's got, and the quarterback ability. I think Javonte Williams, especially with Melvin Gordon having a bloated contract, being a veteran, I think they release him after what they've seen from Javonte's on a rookie contract. You turn that and invest that into the defense some more. I think it becomes a home run play for Javonte Williams in 2022.
Where's Raven at? Is Raven here?
He was. Maybe he queued some guys up.
Swifty McVay. I think Swift's going to have a really big year.
Hey, I would not be surprised, man. He's got the profile. We saw what he was capable of doing with limited opportunities last year. And in Detroit, I mean, the guy was a baller at Georgia, taken early second round, but I mean, only 114 rushing attempts, or 151 rushing attempts, excuse me, last year, 4.1 yards per carry. So not great, but he had 452 receiving yards. So fantasy points per game still shook out about number 8. And you like those receiving yards.
Yeah, and I think that, not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but maybe he will. I think that most likely the Lions decide to roll with Goff for the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's the one topic that I've heard of conversation this week is the Lions potentially in the market for a rookie quarterback. And I don't know if it's fact or fiction or just speculation at this point because we're getting closer to the draft, and obviously Jared Goff is not, you know, but he has, right? I mean, he has been in a Super Bowl with the Rams. So it's like he's got the ability to kind of be the captain of a team and be a serviceable quarterback.
Yeah, his second half of the year last year was pretty good, actually. I think that I don't know if he qualifies as a journeyman necessarily, but he's maybe a late bloomer would be a better term.
I like that Najee Harris, Cooper Kupp still number one wide receiver off the board. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill. I like that Najee Harris pick at the back end of the first round. Josh, I honestly I would go Najee over Dalvin Cook, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. I like Najee as a stud. He's 3 down back. Double wide receiver going 0 RB out of the gate from Ridley 18 with Tyreek and Devontae Adams. I mean, I'm surprised Devontae Adams did not go up with the contract extension of Rodgers. I mean, the franchise tag, I think they're going to probably rework and restructure and get an extension in front of Adams before the season even starts. And, it's interesting. Aaron Rodgers hasn't actually officially signed his deal yet. They're still working out the fine print and everything. I think that's because he wants to retire a Packer.
I think he's waiting for the league deadline, or the new season to start. At least that's what it seemed like. He wrote a tweet about it or something, saying that he was for sure re-signing though.
Yeah, he's for sure re-signing. I think it's just a matter of getting that fine print worked out. There goes Antonio, Joe Mixon, Antonio Gibson, number 16, Deebo Samuel, number 15, Stephon Diggs, Kelsey, first tight end off the board, middle of the second.
I couldn't let him sit there any longer, man.
I like the stack so far. Austin Eckler, Travis Kelsey, going route of best player available on the board. This is best ball, so there's no, add drops, changes to the roster. I think it's smart to, set yourself up with the players you think are going to perform the best over the course of the entire season.
Joel's question about Gordon. They said they want to re-sign him. I honestly think they're going to re-sign him.
Melvin Gordon?
Yeah.
Oof, man, I don't think so.
I mean, he was incredibly efficient, and he's not going to command a ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think he's worth the money. You see more and more NFL teams paying down for running back. They're not valuing it. You haven't seen Melvin Gordon re-sign. You haven't seen Leonard Fournette re-sign. You haven't seen Chase Edmonds re-sign. James Conner, any of these guys yet, because I think the NFL just doesn't value the running back position. Now, what have you seen re-sign? Wide receiver's been getting the franchise tag. The tight end's been getting franchise tags and re-signing contracts. I think that's because teams are realizing they've got they're wanting to pay or get some of these wide receivers at value. Like, for example, Michael Gallup coming off at ACL tear, re-sign him, extend him at value. Now they're talking about releasing Amari Cooper. Now that's an interesting one because he's going to be a super hot commodity on the open market. Like, what? I mean, the Bears strike me as a spot, like a good landing spot for him, because you have Allen Robinson that's likely out, right? I mean, Allen Robinson's going to be out. They'll probably send him to a free agency, and he'll earn a pretty solid contract somewhere because he's a friggin' stud.
I've thought about that. I just don't know that he would want to come here, and I don't know how much control he has over that situation.
Yeah, well, he may not want to go there, but
I mean, I'd love to have him, no doubt. He's one of my favorite receivers. But going back to what you mentioned about the running backs, and I think that it's not that there's less value on a good running back. It's that you can draft a pro-ready running back, but it's very hard to draft a pro-ready receiver, tight end, or quarterback. So that's why a lot of running backs won't resign until probably around draft time or closer to draft time.
I'm going Travis Etienne here. Third round. Yeah, I feel you're spot on. I mean, you look at the 40 times of the players coming out. I mean, there's some pretty good depth at that position, and you put the right type of like core athleticism behind a good offensive line and a proper offensive scheme and everything, and they should be able to pick up the yards you need from the running back position with the occasional breakout. They don't necessarily need to play like a Derrick Henry or Nick Chubb to get your money's worth out of them. They're chain movers is what they need them for. Move the chains, and more teams are going running back by committee. They're doing split backfields. They're not relying on one single bell cow. There's just not as many of those, bell cow pedigree type of running backs in the league, or guys that can actually support that kind of workload, and then also still catch the ball really well and understand all the different offensive schemes that they want to roll out.
Kind of reminds me of like the mid to early 2000s Denver Broncos, where they never really drafted or paid for good running backs. And another team that did that was the Patriots, but they always managed efficient running backs. There's a lot of guys I could think of outside of, after Terrell Davis, Denver never really paid for a good running back. They never paid for a first round running back. Maybe Willis McGahee, but they had a lot of guys that were really efficient that were guys you've never heard of, like Selvin Young, unless you really have been following football a long time.
What year was that?
06, maybe? Let's see.
I mean, Melvin Gordon was
07, that was close.
07? Yeah. Melvin Gordon was decent at best last year, but I mean, nothing anywhere close to like Javonte Williams' efficiency with the same amount of opportunity. I mean, we're talking number 38 breakaway run rate, number 27 in breakaway runs. If you look at his fantasy points per game, number 21, so I just think on the size of contract that we got, or they've got for him, they might as well release him.
Yeah, I wonder where he'll end up.
Plus, he's almost 29 years old.
He still runs hard, man. I think he'll, wherever he ends up, I think he'll be good to go. Joseph Burrow, nice pick.
All right, guys, let's see. We got a couple quarterbacks off the board. If you're just tuning in, we're doing a best ball draft on UnderdogFantasy.com. Now, this is not a super flex best ball. Tom, I see your comment here. This is not a super flex best ball league, so there is not the ability to start two quarterbacks on a weekly basis. So you can only start one, and therefore the quarterback position gets devalued a little bit. That's one of the reasons why I like to do those super flex, Steve, and everybody out there, is because place a little bit more value on the quarterback, more similar to what we see in the hobby, right? With the quarterbacks driving the hobby. But this was one that we had partially filled from last week, and it filled up pretty quick tonight. Actually, I had more guys that wanted to draft than I had spots for, unfortunately. So we're going to do a lot more of these guys. So make sure you're subscribed. Stay tuned. Also, if you want to get in on Underdog and want to get into one of these private leagues with us and a chance to beat us and take our money and whatnot, and they're still offering 100% instant deposit bonus right now for new signups using promo code Quest. So a lot of fun. Go ahead and get in, sign up. I'm on the clock.
Do they have custom leagues, Andy?
What do you mean? What do you mean by custom?
Where you can adjust the scoring settings and whatnot?
Not that I'm aware of. Oh, I'm stacked at running back. That was an accidental. That was an auto draft pick. I gotta remember to queue my guys up. So they do have different formats. Obviously, they've got daily fantasy formats. They've also got basketball, NHL. They've got all kinds of different formats on here. From daily to, obviously, as you've seen, we throughout the season we did the pick'ems where you can do single player prop bets and stuff like that. So they've got all that kind of stuff. NHL, and so they'll do slates. Like you could do a private league with 3, 6, 10 people, 12 people, and you could do it on a slate of just a couple games. You could do a 2-person head-to-head type of draft scenario where you just pick a couple flex players each and go head-to-head. They have those kind of formats. They don't have ones where you could create, customize all the settings like we're going to do on Sleeper. The Patreon Sleeper Dynasty Football League that's getting ready to start up, and we'll be drafting probably, I'd say sometime in May, a few weeks after the draft, Steve. That'll be a lot of fun, and we'll have a lot of customized, unique settings through there. Shoot. I'm exposed to Kittle again. I went with Kittle because the tight end class seems a little deeper. I was surprised that Shelley's pick TJ Hawkinson here at number 36. The fact that Kittle was still out here at 51, I'm gonna go ahead and snag him. There's still quite a few good quarterbacks. I'm not doing a fantastic job of stacking my team right now, but I feel really good about the players I've got in just terms of how they'll produce in 2022. Really bullish on CeeDee Lamb, especially if they release Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup is coming off a torn ACL. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to ball out in September.
Yeah, it'll be a lot easier for them to feature him if there's less mouths to feed on the field. Got to go with my new dude here.
Jorge must be auto drafting because he just took Calvin Ridley.
Deep sleeper, man. Deep sleeper.
Hooked you up with Gabe Davis in the middle of the 5th. That's all right. Yes, sir, Tom. You got it, brother. Detroit has interest in Cooper. They're talking, man. They're making phone calls. They're wanting to. Yeah, where did DK Metcalf? Okay, so he finally went. He dropped all the way to the 3rd round. I think he's gonna fall even more. We're doing this draft so fresh. We got a couple, looks like a couple auto drafters, but that's all good. We're getting a good idea of where these ADPs are at. So DK Metcalf fell to the 3rd round. However, what I've seen in the market, Steve, is that DK Metcalf's cards are still very desirable. They still hold a nice little premium.
Yeah, you can't really downgrade them yet until you see what happens. I don't know. Do you think lock? Do you think they just roll lock out there, or do you think that they still bring in somebody?
I think they try and bring in somebody. Honestly, I think the big secret plan is to probably try and bring in Deshaun Watson. I think they try and bring in Deshaun Watson, honestly, and I don't know that he's even going to play in 2022 because if you think about it, the Texans really screwed him over. So the Texans never tried to even play him, which would have forced the NFL to hand down a sentence, would have forced the NFL to hand down a suspension. So the NFL has not handed down any type of punishment to Deshaun Watson yet. So even if he was, if he goes to Seattle, right, they immediately have got to try and play him. If they don't try and play him, then the NFL is not forced to hand down any type of sentence. And so that's how the Houston Texans have totally screwed Deshaun Watson. They haven't obviously tried to help him in this situation at all, which is really interesting because he could be out another season now, even if he settles out of court and doesn't, criminal charges are dropped, settles out of civil court, and goes to another team. Now the league has got to hand down some type of punishment.
That whole thing is kind of strange to me because, I mean, the entire season went by without like any information, any updates on, what's going on with the case or whatever. So that whole thing is strange to me.
I agree. Deshaun Watson screwed Houston, but they obviously were, gonna play dirty as well with that whole thing, because they could have tried to play him at any time, which would have forced the NFL to hand down a sentence, hand down a suspension, suspend him.
To be fair, in the justice system, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So, he may end up being found guilty, and then you can definitely pin it on him. But yeah, it's just a bad situation,
Yeah, they need to take Calvin. Calvin Ridley's got to come out of the rankings.
Don't forget about Voom today. That's my next pick.
Voom today?
Yeah. It's a sleeper.
What is that? This are you pronouncing it?
No, just look at the comments.
Oh. Yeah, from user VXCBCXWQE.
Surely not a bot at all. Not at all.
So let's see here. I like that value of Dallas Goedert there at pick number 72, Darnell Mooney. All right,
I figure Mooney wasn't going to make it back to me.
I'm not even going to think about that. Honestly, that should have been I got plenty of running backs, but I want some Breece Hall. Do you see that cat at the combine?
No, but I was just doing a little read up on him, and it sounds pretty promising.
Dude, he's a beast. He's gonna be the top running back taken off the board. 95th percentile college dominator from Iowa State. not even 21 yet. Also had a 11% college target share. So just incredible. 5'11", 217, 116.9, 98th percentile speed score, 94th percentile burst score. Had 1,500 yards in 2020 and 2021 at Iowa State.
I'm taking Voom. You bastard. I shouldn't have showed my hand.
There goes Russ. Josh took Russ in the 8th round, which I'm surprised. I don't think these ADPs are fully reflective yet. I think that was a value. You know, I've kind of seen that. Like, we saw this huge spike on Russell Wilson cards the other day, but it's cooled off just a little bit. I would say, you know, hundreds, maybe eclipsed 1,000 Russell Wilson cards sold the day the news broke. It was crazy, Steve. I'm sure you were kind of watching it as well at eBay, and I think it's cooled off a little bit. And you know, it's one of those things, man. There's a lot of impulse, like kind of impulse, knee-jerk emotion type of reactions out there.
Yeah, you know what? When there's a lot of news, the previous topic gets kind of weighed down, you know, and you see that with everything from politics to sports. And you know, the minute they're talking about something new, the last subject matter is quickly forgotten.
You know who has been completely under the radar and nobody's talked about in a few weeks? Thomas Frederick Brady.
I was thinking about him today, man. I think he's not done, to be honest, but we'll see.
He's lurking in the shadows, man. He's waiting to make his. He's waiting for, you know, he's working on a 1-year contract with the 49ers right now. Report those bots, man. Yeah, report that dang bot. Boom. We don't need him for the YouTube algorithm. You guys go smash that like button, man. Let them know we're putting on a good stream. Wow, talking rookies, what y'all think about the NI? Well, a name, image, likeness is getting out of control from what I hear, man. Some of these cats, like at Texas A&M and some of these other schools, are making a ton of money. So some of these smaller colleges and universities aren't like, they don't have millions of dollars run like this giant Google-sized business to pay these players, and so it's interesting. I think Tom.
There should be some limitations on you know, how much they can make. It's kind of could get out of hand pretty easy.
Yeah, I think if you're, who did they get? All right, I'm okay with that. Might be Mitchell Trubisky throwing Kadarius Toney the ball this year. I think if you're, I was going to say, Tom, I think if you're investing in autograph cards of these college athletes that are just coming out, there's some like first edition college cards that are unlicensed. They're licensed directly to the player, but they get them to on-card autograph them. I think those are fine investments depending on the entry price point. If you can get in on those, like some of these quarterbacks and stuff, if you can get in on those for, you know, maybe $20, $30, $40, I think that's a pretty good buy, because especially if you plan to flip it in the short term, think about it. You're going to have like a a stronghold on the market of their autograph cards. You would literally have, you know, some of the only autograph cards of these guys coming out of the draft here in the next month. And if you got that, people are going to want. There's plenty of people out there that, you know, want to invest in players and, you know, or collect players. And if you've got the one of the only autograph cards that are out there, people are going to want that. It's going to be demanded. It's going to be liquid. You can definitely make some profit on that getting in early. If you get in at the right entry price point. I always have to remember to specify that on the back end.
Kirkalicious.
I went Kirkalicious in the 9th round. I kind of slept on quarterbacks. My guy Jalen Hurts is gone, Dak's gone, Trey's gone, Rodgers, Russ, all the big names. You know what? Kirk has got Justin Jefferson. He's got Adam Thielen. He's going to be back on the Vikings. I think Kirk's going to continue to put up over 4,000 passing yards. KJ Osborne, a lot of people are high on Amir Smith-Marset. They've got weapons, like really good weapons. You still got Dalvin Cook. You've got Alexander Madison, who's a nice 1-2 punch combo. Kirk Cousins is going to let it rip, man. I mean, sure, maybe he's going to throw a few more interceptions, maybe have a couple fumbles, but he's going to let it rip, dude. He's got a strong arm. And pretty good efficiency. Like, he's got a really solid accuracy rating, efficiency metrics, good ADOT, you know, throws the ball downfield. And Justin Jefferson is, you know, arguably the best wide receiver in the league, one of the top 5.
Michael Gallup. Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know if you remember me saying, but this is the first best ball draft I've done, so this is pretty cool because it definitely changes a little bit. The strategy does change slightly as it goes deeper. At the beginning, it doesn't really change very much, but the longer the draft goes on.
Yeah, you really want to strategize about how you set up your fantasy roster to, you know, self-sustain itself throughout the entire season. And not be reliant on a waiver wire or being able to trade with other teams for players, stuff like that. So you really have got to, you know, get a good understanding, like which team everybody's on and where their current value is, like on the depth chart, potentially handcuff some guys, you know, make some you got to be very proactive, you know, all the focus is on the draft. And that's why I think it gives us such a good look at, the ADP, which is almost directly correlated with, you know, kind of their card value. Obviously, we don't, you know, there's that big difference. There's no variety of players we're drafting here in terms of, you know, there's not 2 different versions of Chase Claypool we're drafting. This is one version, whereas, you know, got thousands of different cards to choose from. So there's obviously the value variances there. Take into consideration. So how do you feel so far about the draft in terms of the strategy?
I definitely think it's interesting. You know, one thing I'm definitely noticing is that you know, when you're drafting as deep as this league, because there's no, you know, waiver wire and stuff like that, like it does force you to use maybe a dart throw here and there, or just have a little bit more deeper knowledge of players outside of the realm of like the top couple guys, because, you know, you're going to be drafting 12 bench players, not, you know, the usual, which is like what, 4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah. So it goes deep.
Kenneth Walker.
What's up, Justin? Can't sleep. True. Bills and Chargers are two teams I'm thinking about betting Super Bowl futures. Definitely Bills AFC, Chargers AFC. The AFC is stacked, man. What do you guys feel in the chat in terms of NFC teams? Like who's gonna come out on top of the NFC? I know probably Green Bay. So I'm curious to hear a prediction from you guys in the chat about NFC Championship game. Justin Fields finally off the board. 110.
Joel, I would wait for Taylor to have a big week and then list it.
Rams, Brady, are the Rams going to run it back? So who the Rams playing in the championship NFC Championship game? Cowboys versus Vikings. There's one I wasn't expecting to hear. Cowboys versus Vikings. 49ers if Trey's good or Brady comes back to play for them.
Let's see. Yeah.
It's not nearly as stacked. I would say it seems like a free for all. Somebody's going to step up. Obviously, the Rams are going to be a favorite. They're going to be trying to run it back. I think the Packers are going to obviously be making it to the postseason. I can't imagine a world where the Packers don't make it to the postseason. Now, can they win in the postseason? Yeah, obviously AFC West is insanely stacked right now. Derek Carr looks like, chump change compared to the rest of the AFC West quarterbacks now. I think the Bills have a clear lead in AFC East. Now you've got Joey B. I mean, Lamar Jackson's got his work cut out for him now, and now you've got the Browns talking about potentially bringing in a quarterback. I know Browns are in negotiations for potentially bringing in somebody for. Although I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's speculation. I think Baker Mayfield gets another year. I think he's got a longer leash than that.
Here's a question for you. Where do you think, and this is not a guy that's per se fantasy relevant, but I'm just curious. Do you think that a guy like Andy Dalton can find a job somewhere?
Oh man, Andy Dalton. I think he can find a job. I think he can be a spot starter. From time to time, but I don't think he's a guy that you want to try and build any kind of franchise around. I think he could definitely be a viable backup, and I think there's quite a few teams that could. I mean, he would be a good backup, but
I think there's teams that would let him bridge for a rookie still.
That's true. Andy Dalton could be kind of like Teddy Bridgewater, be the bridge QB. Teams aren't necessarily looking to build around him, but he's a low-end starter, right? Could hold the fort down in certain games.
I mean, we have to remember that, I think he vastly outplayed Justin Fields this year. And, if the Bears line wasn't atrocious, he could have arguably had a respectable season as a starter. So, if a team is not barren at the O-line position, they could, make him a viable starter somehow.
Yeah, what do you guys in the chat think about Andy Dalton? Dude, this is perfect time to be buying into some Gardner Minshew. You guys buying in some Mississippi mustache out there? What about you, Steve? I know I am. He's going to definitely be featured in some more mail days.
Yeah, I just have the one that I showed you. Let's see.
Oh yeah, the prices on Gardner Minshew are wonderful right now. Well, no doubt. I mean, right? A backup, but I mean, he can definitely be a starter somewhere.
Yeah, I picked up that select white prism of his. Not a rookie, but I got a deal on it. So I don't own a ton of them. I'm not super high on him. I like him as a player, but I don't particularly like him as an investment. Just my opinion. I was a big advocate of Minshew when he was with Jacksonville.
Yeah. This is this circa 2020.
Well, when he was the hot hand, and when he was even when he wasn't the hot hand, this was pre him losing the starting gig. He's got a lot of heart. He's a good athlete. I think that he'll latch on somewhere.
Oh, Steeler 96, your Steelers 7 in the draft. You got to enter, you got to sign into Underdog and enter. Nah, Jacob Eason is in Seattle now, Tom. Jacob Eason is in Seattle, and he'll be a backup most likely to Drew Lock. He's terrible, man. I wouldn't. I mean, he could get a start via maybe some injuries, but you've also got Geno Smith there, who's got experience with the coaching staff and the offense now. I probably would think Jacob Eason would be a third string quarterback for them. Geno Smith is a free agent, though, so they may not re-sign him, but I imagine that he's pretty cheap, so I would imagine they re-sign him just as a veteran guy that understands the coaching and all the schemes that they play and everything. Yes, sir. Yeah, Bam Bam Sam Ellinger would be the current Colts QB on the roster. However, they definitely are going to be bringing in a rookie through the draft or a veterans. Joel's on top of all the rumors, Colts and Cousins rumors. We've been talking about it, man.
What to take here?
I see you got Nico, you got Mahomes, Kelsey. I love that stack. Got a dynamite stack there.
I'm a big Thielen guy too, and I think that people kind of forgot about him because he did get his season cut short from injury. But when he's on, he might not get the Justin Jefferson love, but the man balls. He does ball.
Yeah, he's got a nose for the end zone. Receiving 10 touchdowns last year, which was tied for 6. So it's like kind of his thing, just getting touchdowns.
Yeah, for the best ball, I mean, would probably want to get guys that can have like explosive weeks, and earn themselves the starting role in your lineup that week.
All right, let's see. On the clock. All right. So yeah, I got a couple rookies that don't have landing spots yet. So I gotta kind of take another quarterback here. Zach Attack's still out there. I'm gonna go with the Zach Attack. I'm gonna go with the Zach Attack because they've got one of the most available salary cap, draft capital situations this offseason. I definitely think they're going to get him another really good wide receiver to build around him. And I think Zach started to come alive at the end of the season. I think they just had so much on his shoulders, trying to expect him to do everything. And it was a really rough rookie season, but you know what? I think he flashed some really nice upside towards the end. He's got some mobility. He's got some really nice arm strength. You put a couple more studs around him, he could be well undervalued. I mean, current ADP of 142. I was actually surprised Trevor Lawrence all the way to 133 here. Behind Justin Fields. Like Justin Fields 2021. There's Malik taken.
It's definitely starting to get thin. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I gotta get some more wide receivers here. It's starting to get thin, but it's actually surprisingly still some interesting picks out there, man. Some guys that we like. Like for example, I got CeeDee Lamb earlier in the draft, and now I'm able to get Cedric Wilson, a guy I've talked about a few times. But if you've got one wide receiver in the team, might as well double up, get him at that kind of value, Because Cedric Wilson came on really strong towards the end of the season. He got more and more snap share, pretty solid college profile. Just went to a small school, Boise State. He's only 26. Versatility.
All right. I might get some heat for this pick, but go on there.
Oh, he went with Gronk, man. I like it. Big fan, man.
Big fan of Gronk, and he hasn't really said anything indicative of that he's retiring. He's only entertained the idea of playing further so far.
Yeah, only entertained the idea of playing further. Yeah, if Brady comes back, he's gonna find a way to play with Brady. If Brady doesn't come back, maybe he finds a play to play with Joe Burrow. Linked to him. I mean, Gronk goes where Gronk wants to go, right?
As a Gronk fan, that would make me happy to see him keep playing. I would say that.
Yeah. But going back to that Cedric Wilson, 6 touchdowns last year, and most of those were coming like in the second half of the season. They started giving him more and more targets, more and more opportunities. Also, 13.4 average yards per reception and 130 passer rating when targeted. And the dude boasted a 74 PFF grade in 2021, which is pretty solid. It's in the green category. That's well above average. So I think he's a really good value, especially with being able to build chemistry rapport without Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper gone. That's kind of my my guesses there, like in my speculation.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. What do we got? How many rounds does this thing go anyway?
20.
Nice. So we're on 14, right? Okay. I'm just trying to get an idea of like how much longer I can let certain guys sit around versus not.
Yeah. There's definitely still some sleepers out there. Justin picked up some Eno Benjamin. I like it. I like the sleeper pick there. He's only RB. It is true. He's the only RB under contract. I definitely think he starts. He comps very closely to Chase Edmonds, and he's on a rookie contract, a cheap rookie contract. So if they keep Eno Benjamin, why wouldn't they? If he's basically Chase Edmonds, just a little bit more. A little bit younger, a little bit more explosive is what I was going to say. He's got a higher burst score. So you keep him, you bring back James Conner. Now you got James Conner, Eno Benjamin. So I think he's at least going to get, 25 to potentially 50% or more opportunity share, mostly like receiving type work. But I'm sure he's going to get some rushing work as well. Change of pace back. So Mooney went, let's see, where did Mooney go? Mooney went here beginning of the 7th round. So his current ADP, there we go. Current ADP of 63.3. And he went 73. So this Filthy was actually able to get Mooney at value there, which is nice. Especially presumably being the alpha in Chicago, wouldn't you say, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I think Allen Robinson's target share gets split between Kmet and Mooney. And they were already pretty much the other main guys anyway, unless they decide to bring in somebody. I have no direction. The Bears front office is typically very hard to predict what direction they're going to go. They tend to disappoint quite a bit. So I think that I hope that they maybe bring in somebody, but I just don't see it happening.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and snag me some Curtis Samuel. Give the guy the ball, Wentz, just throw it to him in the short routes. Let Curtis Samuel go to work, yards after catch. Current ADP of 140. I was able to get him at 166. Can also get his rookie card. He's super young too for being a 2017 rookie product there. James Cook, man, Filthy throwing out a college prospect from Georgia, 22. 6.5 yards per carry, though, at Georgia, 5'11", 199. That's a really low BMI. I'm not really seeing anything that stands out from him. Georgia, although he had a pretty solid 2021. 728 rushing yards. I'd have to look at who he was sharing a backfield with and stuff. He's got a decent-ish. Who's on the clock? Oh, whoops, that was me. I'm over here like doing research and looking at college prospects. I actually drafted a third tight end, which is not optimal or ideal, smart in any way, shape, or fashion, because you can only start potentially 2 on a weekly basis. So whatever, it's all good.
Raven, you jacked my next guy, dude.
Raven got KJ Hamler. Yeah, man, that would have been incredible value.
I have a lot of KJ Hamler cards that I picked up.
Yeah, man, runs a 4.3. Too bad he tore his ACL last year, but he'll be coming back with Russell Wilson. It's like he's gonna have some games. I mean, 4.3 speed, wide receiver, Russell Wilson led offense. Let's go, you know. I want to see where Tim Patrick went because I honestly think
I took Patrick at
you did?
two rounds ago.
Okay, yeah. Look at Just Sports. My guy Josh, he took Jerry Jeudy in the 5th, Cortland Sutton in the 6th at 64, and you took. So Cortland Sutton's ADP before this week was 96.4. So his ADP has gone up 3 rounds thanks to Russell Wilson already. Judy's ADP was 77.1, so he's gone up about 20 spots. He's gone up 2 rounds. So that's, it's about the same as Sutton. And then where did you take Tim Patrick again?
2 rounds ago. So 15th, I think. 16th.
Wow, that's still really good value. Really good value because his ADP was 170, and you only took him 8 spots above where his current or where his ADP was prior to Russell Wilson being signed by the Broncos. So, I mean, compared to the other guys, you got him at value because honestly, he should be going up above Van Jefferson now. He should be going up in this range.
Well, he had 750 yards last year.
Hell yeah.
And that's with like very bad quarterback play. So
exactly. And they extended him for a reason. And Panini went back and printed him in the rookie ticket auto in the flawless set from 2020, even though he's a 2017 rookie. He was drafted in 2017, but he was an undrafted free agent and then picked up by the Ravens in 2017. So he only has rookie cards from 2017 are like these Sage unlicensed cards, right? Panini saw he was good. He had a great 2021. I mean, 5 touchdowns, 734 receiving yards, 53 receptions. Like he was actually a somebody, and the Broncos extended him because he did play pretty well. He made some great catches, clutch. So Panini actually went back and for whatever reason they printed him in the field level, select field level, in parallels. And they printed him in rookie ticket autos and flawless. And that's it. So when you look at the value of his field levels, that is his only base rookie card. That's it. There's only 61 total rookie cards in the market for Tim Patrick. And, I don't know, probably 25, 30 of those are select field levels, and the other ones are rookie ticket autos, and they're all like serial numbered, and then there's some flawless that are all serial numbered. That's it.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually pretty cool that maybe he doesn't think it's cool, but if you're a collector and you maybe want to collect that guy, it's pretty cool because it's like, now there's not a million cards of his to go look for. There's a couple of them and they're very hard to come by.
There's some interesting running backs still out there. Let's see what we got. I got Kirk Cousins. Oh, I missed it. Who did I get? It says I missed a pick. I got him. Okay. Yeah, I want to get KJ Osborne. Nice little deep stack with Kirk Cousins there.
There's a lot of guys I like still on out there, but not necessarily guys I like for my team, if you know what I mean.
I don't speak. Check out the profile pic. We talked about Bam Bam Sam Ellinger a little bit earlier. Looks like he's gonna have himself a little opportunity, man. A little unless they bring in a veteran, you know, maybe a little training camp competition with old Bam Bam in Indianapolis. Is Chris Carson in the 16th is crazy? I know, man. He's totally dust now, Jets. Matt, he's dust, dude. He's been totally dusted. Too many injuries. Taken over. I mean, guy can't stay on the field, and he never had the draft pedigree in the first place to, you know, to really warrant being.
That makes my next decision a little harder.
I know who I want.
I was looking at Rojo there.
Oh, refresh. I miss him. So I was not going to draft Jerick McKinnon. But it's not a terrible play. I mean, he could have some decent games in Kansas City, but I was gonna get. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna queue him up now, though. Let me go ahead and queue this guy up. Go ahead. Queue that guy up right there.
It's time for the dart throws. You ready for these dart throws?
Yeah, I'm ready for him, man. Carson Wentz is still out there.
I gotta rearrange my queue in case I get distracted, like you did the last couple rounds. Well,
dude,
not the last couple rounds, but one time too many, I would say.
I am notorious for getting distracted and missing. Notorious, man.
All right.
I've come to find out it's very difficult for me to live stream and draft at the same time. Like, and actually come out on the other side with a good team. No, I think my team's okay. It's got a shot. And looking back, I actually, you know, did okay in quite a few best balls last year. Made like 40 or 50 bucks. You know, nothing crazy. But I did win a handful of the 6-team leagues, and came in second and third in some of the 12-team leagues. I think Matt from Jets Crazy 87 won one. I know Michael Ham won a league. I think Perry Collectibles won one. I think Filthy Collector won a league. I know Steelers 7. I think he came really close. He may have won one, or at least came in second or third. Won some decent money. Filthy said I'm drafting QBs. So Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, and you don't have me to remind you that you're up to draft either, because I'm drafting as well.
Yeah, I need both of us to focus on one team. That's why, you know, you guys hear us go silent in this live stream a few times. It's because we're like trying to figure out who we're drafting next, queuing guys up.
Yeah. Let's see who's up. Jets Crazy. Let's look at the last couple picks here. Byron Pringle, Jonnu Smith. That's an interesting one. Lazard. You know, it's interesting because just like in a regular standard draft, it's most likely the mid to late part of the draft that is what makes or breaks your team, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the meat of the draft, man, where you're stashing those guys that turn out to be league winners. And you're like, oh, yeah, I had that guy on my bench. Hell yeah.
Yeah, because at the top of the league, the players, assuming they perform near their ADP, are pretty similar in skill level. But these dart throws down here, if you get one right and someone doesn't, it puts you at a massive advantage over them.
Massive advantage. Like, there's a few quarterbacks. I can't believe, like, of course, it's not super flex, so it's interesting dichotomy to see the quarterbacks going so late. But like this, for example, okay, I've got 3 tight ends, pretty stacked in running backs, but can always use more. I mean, honestly, also like Antonio Brown's still out there. I want to take this guy because he's undrafted or not. He's a rookie, but this guy is a beast. Justin Ross. He went to Clemson, and he was one of Trevor Lawrence's favorite target. And if you've heard any of the draft rumors, is that he is setting up to be drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars early in the 2nd round.
Interesting.
So I don't even know if he participated at the combine, but he broke out at 18.7 at Clemson. He's 6'4", 205. So I think it'll be really telling if they let DJ Chark go, right? He's got an 82nd percentile scouting grade. They let DJ Chark go. Justin Ross had 1,000 yards receiving 2 years with Trevor Lawrence. And the last year in 2018 was 22 yards per reception. So it's just interesting. He could be. I'm gonna get. No, I don't really want him, but I guess I'm gonna have to take him. Christian Watson is another name I heard. He's another.
Dan, the man Arnold. I love it.
Dude, Christian Watson, he went to North Dakota State University, so small school, 6'4", 208 though. Ran a 4.36 at the combine, 96 percentile. At 6'4", 208, that puts him at a 98th percentile speed score. Christian Watson, college yards per reception, 18.6, 44% college dominator, 90th percentile. Dude straight balled out.
What round are we at? 19. Is it time to throw a dart? See what happens.
See who you went. Benjamin, I had him starred on my thing.
Yeah, at this juncture, why not,
Do you remember last year preseason at one point Zach Moss was his ADP was like going up here in the 9th, 10th round. Keyshawn Vaughn territory. Look where Keyshawn Vaughn has actually risen, man. This is impressive. Have you seen a demand pickup for Keyshawn Vaughn over on eBay?
A little bit. Like I see his cards going for a little bit more than before.
So Raven took him at the 116. His ADP is 196 average draft, so 196. But I think that's a smart anticipation. I think all signs. Leonard Fournette has talked about now on several occasions his time with Tampa Bay in the past tense. Ronald Jones has been so inconsistent that I highly doubt we bring him back. There's no reason to. We'd have, we've got Keyshawn Vaughn on a rookie contract, and maybe we draft another guy, or we bring in a veteran super cheap. Like, I've really liked the fit with Marlon Mack. I think that would be cool.
The interesting thing about Tampa is that there's just so many guys out there that could be a fit for them, because Vaughn has the coach's confidence. They say that he could carry the team.
Yeah, man, that goes a long way if you've got the coach's confidence. All right, so where's the dart being thrown here? The last round, Scaldesi.
I don't know. I'm trying to see if I have any positional needs. I don't think so. How many QBs did you go with?
Actually went with 3, I think. Zach Wilson, Kirk Cousins. No, I only have 2 actually. But it's honestly, it's not optimal to go with 3. Unless one of them is very, if you're very unsure whether or not they're even going to start or get an opportunity.
Right.
Yeah, Isaiah McKenzie's reliable. Man, he was super reliable with the Bills.
There's only one unsure starter that I might take as a third QB.
Yeah, Jahan Dotson. Justin, Jahan Dotson is a beast, dude. That guy looks so electric, and he's actually a guy that I've seen kind of projected to go to the Jets. I think to the Jets.
Hey, you ready to laugh at this one?
Yeah.
Ready?
Trubisky. Tom Brady. Nice. He did it.
Mr. Irrelevant, last pick for my team. But we just talked about. If a guy that you pick late overperforms, the devastating effect on your team that would have. And let's just say that would be the ultimate devastating effect for the last pick to be the number 1 QB in the league.
That would be overly that would be the ultimate value play, man.
And I have him and Gronk, so if they decide to play together again, that's going to be pretty sick.
Actually, that's who it was. Jahan Dotson's actually projected to go to the Texans, number 35 overall, which would be incredible for the general. The general. I mean, we're making end of the. I did it for you, Filthy.
That was going to be my other option, but I wanted to just make a statement pick with Brady.
I got him. I sniped the general.
It's the high risk, high reward factor. Oh, that's it. Who was the last pick?
Drew Lock. Drew Lock. Mason Rudolph. I'm not surprised Brian is convinced that Mason Rudolph's going to be the starter for Pittsburgh. And then you got Drew Lock in the final round, which I think Drew Lock will end up starting for Seattle if they don't pick up another guy.
I think that he gives them a chance with the deep ball. That's about it, though. Who's Filthy going to take? On my end, it said the draft was completed.
Yeah, let me see. Sometimes it takes a second. Let's see who Matt got. He said he's loving his team. He got Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel. I love those first 2 picks. Kyle Pitts, love it. Then he went quarterback with Joe Burrow. Not crazy about Jacobs. I like Lenny, but I think he goes someplace where he's like a change of pace type back. Jacobs is he's always going to be in a timeshare from here on out. I think those are decent picks. I think they've got some decent upside. I just don't know if it's consistent upside. With those running backs, depending on where Lenny lands, how he's used.
Even if he ends up in a timeshare, he'd probably be the goal line back, I would imagine. Would you not agree?
Yeah, great goal line back for sure. Rodgers, he got Rodgers in there. I like that pick. So his quarterbacks,
that's a healthy quarterback.
Yeah. A-Rob, and this A-Rob pick could be fantastic depending on where he lands. Garrett Wilson, absolute stud, one of the best wide receivers in the draft from Ohio State. Garrett Wilson looks incredible, man. Just depends on where he's going to land, right? Ran a 4.38, 6 foot, 183. So, son.
Right.
78th percentile college target share, Ohio State, and obviously big name school, played over 1,000 receiving yards in 2021. 21% target share. That's awesome. Like that. James Robinson, not a fan of that. I don't know how that's going to shake out. You got a new coach, plus James Robinson's coming off a late season. Wasn't it an ACL tear?
I'm not sure what the injury was, but I mean, to be fair, he played really well at the beginning of the year.
He did, but I'm just saying, you've got it was Achilles tendon. So week 16, you come off he tears his Achilles tendon, and now he's coming into new coaching staff. He's going to miss minicamp. He's going to miss OTAs. He's going to be walking into the beginning of the season trying to get into a groove with the offense whenever they've already been practicing for months with Travis Etienne, who's also Trevor Lawrence's, go-to running back in college, and you've got the new coaching staff and everybody's trying to get into a groove. I think he's going to get some opportunity. I still think this was too early. I'd rather have Keyshawn Vaughn here than James Robinson, in my opinion.
I see a conversation in the comments about Fitz, and I think that he is good enough to still play another year, maybe two, if he can stay healthy. And I mean, to go to a team that he's not going to get massacred on with the weak goal line, he could be really good. Actually, I think it's easy to forget how well he did the past couple of years before he got hurt.
Dude, I love me some Fitz magic. I got some decent exposure to him, man. I got some Bowman Chrome autograph rookie card that was only like $50, man, compared to the year 2005, same year as Aaron Rodgers rookie year. I mean, it's like, I felt like it was a good value with how rare it is. And yeah, man, journeyman, you don't know where he's going to go, and he's not afraid to throw it deep, man. He can light it up any given play, put some weapons around him. We were super excited about him. It was a freak hip injury accident. Oh man, I was so disappointed that happened to him last year, but I don't think he's done yet. But he did that injury, man, was rough. I can't believe that injury knocked him out the entire season the way it did. So
yeah, they kept hinting like he was going to come back one week and then he didn't, and then he was going to come back one week and then he didn't. But I think it'd be cool to bring him into Tampa and have him do like a little quarterback competition. What do you think?
I'd love it, dude. I'd be totally down with that for quarterback competition with Kyle Trask, Blaine Gabbert. Yeah. And that maybe that's what we do. I'd much rather have a Fitzpatrick here than Jameis.
But Winston wasn't a turnover machine with the Saints.
He had a pretty. No, he wasn't.
he
You're
had a
right.
pretty respectable, touchdown to interception ratio, which was his only issue when he was with Tampa. He
All
set
right.
like a record for passing yards, but he also set a record for interceptions. So it's kind of a bad combo.
It is a bad combo. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. All right. I got my auction. Got my auction snipe. Man, this one's actually ending in 11 minutes.
Ooh, you better show it soon.
But I like this one.
It better not be a Nico Collins Silver Prism mosaic.
Let's see. How do I go? There it is.
Nice. That is nice.
It's a really good condition card too for being on card autograph. This person got it signed at like a show or something with a blue Sharpie. Jalen Hurt. Almost looks like you got just a little bit of a blue Sharpie there on the left side of the right side of that card.
Yeah, a little dab there.
But
Still got
PSA
a tag
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't ding him for it, so.
Well, they just graded the auto. I think they just graded the auto. That's what that means. So it kind of has the perception that it's a PSA 10, but it's just a 10 auto.
I mean, the card looks to be in pretty good condition. I
Yeah.
can't really, see any of the surface, but centering and corners look pretty good. Who's gonna get it? I would think that card, without even looking, I would imagine it probably comps like it's got to be close to $150. What do you think?
You would think. I would think that I'd value this card in September for, I would say about $200 with the slab and everything, with the condition.
And think about it. That's just right now, and we're speculating that he plays well and his values go up. So.
Yeah, I think his values should go up as we get closer to the season, and he's the starter for Philly. And his ADP is solid. His ADP maybe should continue to climb a little bit. I think Philly's in the market to get another wide receiver. They got to do something there. You got to get somebody alongside Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. Because friggin' Greg Ward is a total bust. JJ Arcega-Whiteside is a total bust. They got a bunch of busted wide receivers. Jalen Reagor is kind of flamed out. All right, so what's your auction, Steve?
You want one for today or tomorrow? Because I got my watch list open right now.
Yeah, give us one for tomorrow.
One for tomorrow? All right, let's see here. Go to tomorrow's list. All right, let's see. Stay away from vintage. I don't have comps on this, but I think that this is a card that should be taken a look at. I think that this has to be worth quite a bit more than it's listed for. So here we go. I'll send it to you through through Discord. You can post. It's a little bit higher. It's not. I wouldn't say it's more high end than this card. It's about. It'll probably go for about the same price at the end of the day.
That's a nice card, man.
And the fact that it has almost the whole logo on it is really nice.
I almost forgot about Quez Watkins. He's a good sleeper. Quez Watkins, he's like the KJ Hamler in Denver. Quez Watkins in Philadelphia. Little bit of white corners on this. You see those white corners?
Okay. Yeah.
But man, that patch is incredible. Sticker auto. It's numbered out of 5. Dang.
It's so hard. I mean, I don't know how often you look at these relic cards, like especially the high-end ones. It's just, there's a reason a lot of companies won't grade them. They come out of the packs and not the perfect condition. It's pretty normal, right? It's pretty normal.
Yeah, because they're so thick, man. They're so thick and they're fat to fit in anything.
But I mean, overall, I think that those are some minor issues. I think that those are like expected flaws, if you will. But I think the card is just too nice, and the low number too. You know.
Very nice, guys. Very nice. All right. Oops, just ripped that out of my ear. All right, guys. Had fun tonight. Stay tuned for more sports card, football card related videos all day, every day. AC out. Steve, we're out of here, brother.
Discord, guys. We got nothing but time to talk in there about any of this stuff you want to talk about.
Carlos, of course, CD Lamb's a good investment. We're out. We'll see you guys next week. See you in that next video. Got another video coming out tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you there. Peace.
Later, guys.